Over 100 hotel records, 30-something photos. My fiancé threw all of it in my face at our engagement party, in front of every person I've ever known. The one who gave it to him wasn't any of the men. It was my best friend. My name is Nikki. I'm 26. I'm writing this on a bus headed north with my phone at 9% battery and a kid 2 rows back who won't stop crying, which feels about right. Shay blocked me this morning. Her profile is just a blank now. 7 years and now a blank. I grew up in a town in eastern Kentucky that most people have never heard of and wouldn't stop for if they had. My dad worked the mines until the mine closed. My mom cleaned houses. I've got a younger brother and a sister who was sick most of her childhood. I dropped out sophomore year, not because I was failing. I wasn't. We just couldn't afford for me to keep going. So I didn't. I was 15 when I started working, waitressing mostly, a laundromat for a while, a factory outside of town that made automotive parts, which sounds more dignified than it was. I'm 5'10" and always have been, and the factory foreman used to give me grief for not being able to lift the heavy stuff, like my height was a promise I'd broken. Someone added me to a group chat, car show in Nashville, looking for promotional models, $500 a day, 5 to 7 minimum. I fit. I went. That was 2018. First time I made $500 in a single day. All I had to do was stand in a dress and smile at a camera for 6 hours. My feet swelled up and I didn't care at all. Shay was at that car show. She was 2 months younger than me, 5'8", oval face, eyes that went into crescents when she smiled. She showed me how to angle my chin for the camera. She split her lunch with me without being asked. She said, "You're good at this, girl. I'll call you when something comes up." Her voice had this softness to it. I found out later she was from Eastern Tennessee, which isn't so different from where I came from. We understood each other without having to explain much. She did call, trade shows, runway for small brands, promotional stuff. Whenever she had work, she brought me along. We started spending all our time together, splitting $12 plates of food, crammed into her 10 by 10 rental room, watching videos on our phones, talking about men and what came next. One night she asked me, "Nikki, you want to make real money?" I said, "Yeah." She told me about the club work, said one night paid more than a month of trade shows, said it was just drinks and company, nothing more than that if you didn't want it to be, said plenty of girls did it, said we'd save up and go home in a few years and open something, be our own bosses. I didn't say anything. She looked at me and smiled. "I'm not pushing you, just think about it." That night my dad called. The way he talked around it told me everything. The money I'd been sending home was running low again. I lay there staring at the ceiling until 3 in the morning. The next day I told her, "Take me with you." I'm not going to get into the details of those years. You know what it was. Smoke and men's hands and money. And the money was real, I won't pretend it wasn't. Enough that my hands shook sometimes when I counted it. I sent over $200,000 home across those years. New roof on my parents' house, a truck for my dad, my sister's medical bills. My dad asked where it was coming from. I told him sales, good commission. He believed me. Of course he believed me. I'd never given him a reason not to. Shay and I shared a room the whole time. We looked out for each other. When one of us had too much to drink, the other one got her home. When someone got too rough, there is always someone to back you up. The nights I couldn't take it anymore, I'd end up crying into her shoulder, and she'd say just a little longer. Save up and get out. We don't have any other options, coming from where we come from. Only thing we've got is each other. She was right. I thought she was right about everything back then. I was 25 when I went home for the holidays, and my mom grabbed my hand and said a woman from her church wanted to set me up with someone. Local guy, good situation. Did I want to meet him? I said sure. I was 25. I wanted a normal life. His name was Travis. 30. Ran a building supply business his family had owned for 2 generations. Decent looking, little stocky. The kind of solid that reads as reliable when you're tired of everything being uncertain. He looked at me across the table and his whole face changed. He pursued me like it was his job. First week he showed up at my parents' place with flowers and a pie his mother had made. Second week he came back with his truck bed full of stuff for the house. Groceries, a new set of pots my mom had mentioned once in passing, a bag of dog food for the stray my dad had been feeding. He remembered everything anyone said and showed up with it later. My parents were beside themselves. My mom kept saying, "Baby, you got lucky. This one's the real thing." My dad, who never warmed to anyone quickly, shook Travis's hand after that second visit and said, "You're all right." That was it. That was everything from my dad. Honestly, I didn't love him. Not yet. But I didn't dislike him either. And he was generous in a way that felt genuine. Paid my mom's medical bills without being asked. Never once made me feel like I owed him anything for it. The night he asked me to marry him, he said, "I know we haven't known each other that long, but I'm not confused about what I want. Take your time." I thought about it for 2 days. Where else was I going to find that? I never told him about my past. Couldn't. Wouldn't. We dated for a few months. Both families got together and worked out the terms. $18,000 in bride price, a car, a house with both our names on it. I said yes. When I got back to the city to pack up my things, I told Shay I was getting married. She went quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. Small, soft. Said congratulations. I told her she needed to find someone too, a good man. Get out. She didn't respond to that, just looked down at her drink. After a long time she said, "You're lucky, Nikki." I didn't understand what she meant by that. I thought she was happy for me. The engagement party was set for April. 10 days before, I called Shay and told her to come down, spend a few days, be there for it. She said, of course. She'd been wanting an excuse to get out of the city anyway. Travis picked her up with me at the bus station. She was loud and warm the whole drive, telling Travis embarrassing stories about me, and I was laughing, but my palms were sweating the whole time. One wrong word, one stray detail, and everything would unravel. She never slipped. She was careful. That's what I didn't understand until later. She was being careful on purpose. At dinner one night, she said to Travis, "Hey, we should swap numbers in case I can't reach Nikki sometime." Travis pulled out his phone. They exchanged contacts. I didn't think anything of it. 2 nights before the party, Shay said she had to leave early. Family thing couldn't be helped. I begged her to stay for the party just 2 more days. She said she couldn't, hugged me at the bus station tight, and whispered in my ear, "I think the universe is fair, Nikki." She looked at me when she said it, smiled, got on the bus. I thought it was a strange thing to say. I didn't think about it again until the party. The morning of the engagement, I was up before dawn getting ready. My mom did up the buttons on my dress and said I was the prettiest she'd ever seen me. My dad set off firecrackers in the yard. The neighbors came over to watch. By 10 o'clock, Travis's convoy hadn't arrived. I called him. No answer. Called again. No answer. Called his mother. Nothing. I didn't know what was coming, I just knew something was. My mom said maybe they hit traffic, told me to calm down. They showed up after 11. Travis got out of the lead car, and I knew immediately. His face was the color of ash, no flowers, no suit. He was still in the jacket he'd left in that morning. His family filed out behind him one by one, and they had that particular look. Not surprised, not upset, just watching. They had already processed it. They were here for the ending. He walked past my parents without speaking. My dad started to say something and Travis just kept walking. Came straight to me. The yard went quiet before he even opened his mouth. 30 people and no sound at all. His voice was flat. "Nikki, I'm only going to ask you once. What did you used to do for a living?" My voice came out shaking. "What do you mean?" He laughed. One short sound that had nothing warm in it. "Your girl told me everything." He pulled out his phone, opened the photos and held it up in front of my face. Me and Shay at the club, arms around each other, drinks in hand. Me in other men's laps. And then the hotel records. Scrolling and scrolling, 2 years of them. How do you explain this? I couldn't speak. I grabbed the table beside me or I would have fallen. My mom was standing 3 feet away and she didn't move. My dad sat down on the porch steps and lit a cigarette. He didn't look at me. He didn't look at anyone. He just smoked. Someone in the back had their phone out filming. Travis's mother pushed through from the back and took his arm. He let her pull him toward the cars. His relatives followed, unhurried, still watching. One of the neighbor women leaned over to another and said something I could almost hear. My face was burning. Tears were running down into the collar of my dress. I wanted to move and couldn't. I wanted to say something and couldn't. Travis turned back once at the edge of the yard. "That friend of yours," he said. "You should hear what she said about you." He played a voice message. Shay's voice, soft as it always was. The same voice that had told me to hang on, just a little longer. We only have each other. "Travis, I think you're a good man. You deserve to know the truth. Nikki's not who she says she is. I'm telling you because you shouldn't be lied to. I called her right there in the yard in front of everyone. It rang twice. She picked up. Shay." "Why?" A few seconds of silence, then her voice clear and even. "Why do you get to just walk away from all of it? Why do you get someone who takes care of you in a house with your name on it? We did the same things, Nikki. I just think that's not fair." I couldn't say anything. She hung up. I called back. Blocked. The engagement was off. The bride price went back. The house, the car, gone. Travis left without looking at me. His relatives stood around talking in low voices. My mom cried in the yard and then turned on me, said I'd shame the family, said I was worthless. My dad finished his cigarette on the porch steps and went inside and closed the door behind him without saying a word. The neighbor woman's voice carried across the yard. I always said that money wasn't clean. I stayed in my room for 5 days. My mom left food outside the door and knocked and left. Didn't speak to me. On the 5th day, I packed my things and left. She stood at the door watching me go. Still didn't say anything. When the bus got near the edge of town, I opened my phone and looked at Shay's profile one last time. Our photo from that first car show, both of us in formal dresses on the show floor, her arm around my waist, both of us grinning like we'd gotten away with something. I turned the phone off. The bus is somewhere in the middle of nowhere now. Fields going past the window, flat and green. The kid behind me finally stopped crying. My phone is at 9% and dropping. I keep thinking about Shay handing me half her lunch at that car show. Shay at 3 in the morning in the hospital waiting room. Shay saying we're sisters, Nikki. We've got each other. I thought she was the one person in the world who was fully on my side. But here's what I've been sitting with for 5 days in that room. The thing that pushed me off the edge wasn't any of the men. It wasn't even Shay. It was the girl who left home at 15 and thought money could fix everything. The girl who walked into that club and told herself it was temporary. The girl who kept the secret for years and thought the past would just stay buried if she wanted it to badly enough. That was me. Those were my choices, every single one. The sun is going down, the window glass is orange. Wind's picking up outside. I can see it in the trees along the road. Screen's about to go black. I think Shay told the truth. I think she told it for the wrong reasons. I think both of those things can be true at the same time. I ruined my own life. I just had help at the end. Over 100 hotel records, 30-something photos.